All right, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Game number 3 between Nogram and Tarson. We are tied up right now as at 1-1, and this time we are on one of my favorite maps, one of my new favorite maps. It is Crevasse. That is the name of the map. We can see that front entrance right now, having that small destructible debris, but there is that entrance right here. And then aside from that, you do have a natural right inside of your base. You just go up this ramp onto this higher ground, and there you have it. Base is fairly wide open, and obviously the same thing is going to be the case over here for Tarson. So again, this is another Terran versus Zerg in this series between these two players, Tarson versus Nogram, and we are here on Crevasse. And yeah, I just really like this map. It looks very, very nice aesthetically. Easily one of my favorites, no doubt about it. Let's give you another drink recipe, because I did promise that we would do that. I'm not going to do this every single game, but maybe I'll just do it for the rest of the series. So anyways, next drink is going to be an Amaretto Sour. I personally just like Amaretto on the rocks. Di Serono Amaretto is certainly one of my favorite drinks, basically a nice sipping drink. Gets you nice and warm pretty quickly, I'd have to say. But anyways, Amaretto Sour is actually very, very simple. Any sour mix or anything in Coke or anything like that, it's usually just the liquor of choice and then whatever the beverage is. So Amaretto Sour is just going to be basically 1.5 ounces of Amaretto almond liqueur and then 1 to 2 splashes of sweet and sour mix. You can make homemade sweet and sour mix, and maybe I'll give you a recipe for that sometime. But aside from that, you can actually just proxy racks going down here from Tarson. But aside from that, you can actually just you can buy. There's so many variants, but any sweet and sour mix at your local grocery store will do it. So, anyways, yeah, let's go into the game here. Tarson, man, oh man, coming out with this proxy racks, and I'm gonna expect actually a second racks as well. We can see no refinery right now, so Tarson gonna be opening up with some 2 racks pressure. He has known in the past 2 games that Nogram has been not opening up one base play. He's been going for that quick expand, and this is exactly the kind of thing that's going to work well against that. We're going to see 2 racks pumping out Marines. We're going to see these SCVs go down and probably try to drop some bunkers as well. But this 2 racks pressure can work very, very well against any fast expand build. So this is going to be very interesting indeed. Now we can see right now, though, Nogram scouting out the base here. He's catching that depot, and what he's going to see is no barracks. But is he not going to scout it? Oh, please push in to try to scout it. There we go. So Nogram scouting the lack of barracks. Right now, he's almost certain that there are 2 rackses somewhere proxied on the map, and he can expect that sometime very, very soon. So as such, as soon as he gets this up, I'm almost expecting a spine crawler to get dropped down right away, because right now he knows that this is coming. And oh man, poor SCV trapped back there. That's actually a bit of a problem, because he wanted that SCV to help in this engagement once it does come down. Now, something else to realize at this point is that Tarson doesn't know yet where his opponent is. He's going to be scouting him out in just one moment. As soon as he scouts out that base, he's probably going to be headed right on in with those Marines immediately. But look at this, Nogram knows it's coming. He's got 8 Zerglings on the way, as well as these 2 Queens. So unfortunately for Tarson, I do not think this push is going to work. Zerglings moving on, getting a surround on that SCV. And are they going to take down? I believe, yes, they will. So Tarson, this is not good, buddy. This is not what he wanted to happen at all. Is he going to pull down with another SCV? Yes, he is. He does want at least 1 SCV in the mix. Tarson's going to be coming out with an expand, too. That's going to basically be the follow-up to this 2 racks push. Now, these Marines by themselves still can do some damage. They work very, very well against Zerglings up until that metabolic boost is up on the board. Unupgraded Marines are going to actually do very well against regular Zerglings. But the problem is, besides dropping this Overlord, I don't expect him to do much at all. He might actually get to drop that Queen. So here we go, trying to get that Overlord down, doing a good job of staying away. He needs to just try to micro away from these Zerglings. And look at this. This is just, I can show you how effective right now. Well, I'm not showing it to you, Tarson is, but you can see how effective these unupgraded Marines are against those unupgraded Zerglings. They're just very well with some proper micro. You can do incredible amounts of damage. Does want to be careful about going on the creep, though. That extra speed makes things a little bit more dangerous against those Zerglings, but he does have this bunker coming up. Now we can see that metabolic boost is going to be finished in just one moment, so this is a little bit dangerous. He's going to drop the Queen, though. No, going to continue to micro away from those Zerglings, trying to get up, but no, he's going to be losing his SCV. Do those Queens. Nice play there by Nogram, but still those Marines just tearing through those Zerglings. We've got 22 Zerglings coming through. The problem right now, though, is that Nogram wants to be droning up, but he cannot just because of this constant Marine pressure. And actually, at this point, it looks like Tarson's going to be pushing back home. He is in big danger of losing those Marines, though, because as they try to walk back home, these Speedlings are going to catch up very quickly. We do want to see him try to lift up these racks and head those back home as well, but does need to be careful because there are a lot of Zerglings on the board. And here we go. Here comes that engagement. They're going to be catching up to those Marines in just one moment. Going to be trying to get us around. Tarson going to do what he can to try to micro away, try to prevent that surround as much as possible. But look at that. Marines tearing through those Zerglings. He may not have enough, but no, he does. And even against those Speedlings, he had enough Marines, and wow. So nice push there from Tarson. Again, another opening game push from Tarson worked very effectively. You see that right there? 36 units killed. We're 7 minutes in the game, and that is nothing but Zerglings, guys. That is really, really nice there from Tarsem. Now let's take a look at that transition. There is that expo up for Tarsem. He does have this factory coming down as well. Going to be coming down with 2 more racks, but this is a big advantage for Tarsem because Tarsem forced so many Zerglings to be produced. You can see how low the drone count is right now for Noggrim. Noggrim at 20 drones as opposed to that 25 SCV, and at this point in the game Noggrim should be pushing close to 40 drones right now, but he was forced to make so many Zerglings that he was just unable to do so. We do have this bunker up for this frontal wall. Baneling that's just about finished, and actually I don't know, I think Noggrim might be trying to go for a Baneling bust right now, so he's going to see the fact that there's no barrack up there. And is he going to do? Yes, he is. Noggrim's going to be trying to go for a Baneling bust. And is Tarsem going to be ready for this? This can be very dangerous. Those Banelings, 6 Banelings is what it's going to take to actually bust right through, or maybe it's 5. I think it's 5. 5 Banelings is going to be what it takes to bust through one of these depots, and then he just wants to make sure he's got enough Zerglings to move in and actually do some damage after that point. Actually, I wouldn't be all too surprised if he just went straight for this bunker to try to kill off those Marines inside. Is he going to come up with more Zerglings? Yes, he is. So he's going to wait, because it's not enough. This is something else to realize, this Zerg player. I see some Zerg players bust an opponent, and then that's it. They break down the wall, but then they've got no follow-up. You need to make sure when you're going for a Baneling bust on a Terran player or a Protoss player even, that you have enough Zerglings after you bust through to actually do some damage. Because if you roll in with like 5 to 10 Zerglings, it's not going to be enough. But here we go. Bust moving on forward right now. Going to be going straight for that bunker, I expect. Going to drop that down quickly, killing all the Marines. And Zerglings inside of the base, going to be getting us around, dropping down that tank. Going to be going straight into the resource line, and these Zerglings are going to do quite a bit of damage right now. This is not good at all. Marines trying to come forward and engage, but not before those Zerglings do a lot of economic damage. This is exactly what Noggrim needed to do to try to catch back up into the game. He does have those Zerglings moving in the expo, just kind of more for scouting purposes than anything. The damage of this push is all but done right now, but he's scouting him out. He's seeing exactly what he's got going. We do have a few more Zerglings over here. Really sad that those aren't in the main base right now. I really wish that Noggrim had grabbed those during that push, because this could have been so much more devastating if Noggrim had basically brought those in there. In fact, that could have been game-ending right there, in all honesty. This small amount of Zerglings, if he could have gotten in there right away, as soon as they hatched, he could have done so much more economic damage. And, yeah, that's really too bad. Noggrim had a tremendous opportunity right there to do a much more damage than he did. But either way, he did still do some damage. You can see Noggrim killing off 10 workers during that push, also killing off a bunch of Marines as well. He's got 24 total units killed. Here we go. Medevac going to be pushing on it out, and the stim pack just about finished. So we're going to see a stim go down on these Marines and going to start taking out some of these workers. Is he going to go for the spine crawler? No, I guess not. Just going to be lifting back up as those Zerglings push in, as well as those 2 queens, and heading back on home. Yeah, guys, I am very sad to see that missed opportunity for Noggrim. I really wish that he had those Zerglings rallied up there. That could have been much more effective than it was. Now, we do have this Medevac still going to be heading on around the map, probably just trying to pick off any Zerglings. I would like to see him actually try to scout that, but no, grabbing the Zelnag gun. I want to pick those guys back up, though, because we do have a few Zerglings heading their way on over. That's enough Zerglings for him to take out no problem, actually. He's going to be getting this free kill right here. So anyways, let's see what Tarsem does have planned. He's going to be going for the same style build here. We can see 2 reactors, so Marine heavy with some tanks. A little bit of a supply block there again. There's that engineering base to get those upgrades, as well, of course, as getting those turrets to deal with those likely mutas to be coming in. But let's take a look over here for Noggrim. Does he have that even in the works? I don't think he does. Pretty sure he's got no Spire right now. He does have this layer up, but no Spire. There we go. What? Okay. I thought that was another Baneling's Nest. I'm like, what the hell are you doing, Noggrim? So there's a Spire coming on through. So finally going to start to try to make that transition. We do still have these Marines in this Medevac moving their way across the board. Don't expect them to do too much damage. Here comes a Viking. Going to get some free Overlord kills. 1 already down. 1 kill for this Viking. Going to try to get a couple more. Needs to be careful. It does have this Queen moving down to engage. Marines going to be moving down, trying to do a little bit of damage. And actually, they're going to be getting a little bit of Zergling damage before they get lifted up here. Some nice Marine micro here from Tarsem. It's time to pick him back up, though. There we go. He got quite a few kills in that engagement. Very effective Stim Marines with those Medevacs, healing them up, dropping those Zerglings very quick. And he's going to still try to go to work on this Expo, getting surrounded, though. And actually, is he going to be picking those up in time? No, not really. So actually, he kind of lost those unnecessarily. Not quite sure. He must have been paying attention to something else. Doesn't look like he's getting harassed. Yeah, just wasn't paying quite enough attention. It's very unnecessary for him to have lost those. But anyways, Viking going to be moving across, try to get a few more Overlord kills. We do have 1 free Overlord right here for him. Just need to be careful by getting too close to that edge. Actually, in a perfect spot. He's like just barely out of the range of that Queen. There we go, finally moving within range. I think, is he going to try to drop it first? Yes, he should. drop it, and then head back home. There you go. So one down. Actually going to be getting another one over here. Where are these queens? Need to help with this. This Viking is going to get some free kills. No, never mind. He's not even going to bother because he does expect those queens to come up and help. Two medevacs still moving on across, and Tarson pushing out for his third expansion. So now at this point, obviously Nogrum's going to want to get up that next expo, transferring down some workers over here. We do have Tarson actually getting up another factory as well, so going to probably be going a little more tank heavy this game. Also coming out with this reactor on this starport, going to be pumping out those medevacs, and then hopefully later in the game, if it does get to this point, going to be able to get out some Vikings to deal with possible Broodlords. But we'll see. Who knows at this point how long this game's going to last. Right now, both players looking pretty much on even footing in terms of army. We do have Tarson at that advantage, but realize, as a Zerg player, you basically don't build your bulk of your attack force until that push is just about to come anyways. A lot of times this is what he's doing. He's just kind of working on his economy, getting a little bit, streaming out some units here and there, but nothing too extravagant. And a big ball of mutas, not that big, but a ball of mutas moving out here, trying to do some harassment. Did manage to kill off that SCV, building that refinery. I think they got a few more kills there as well. And finally going to be forced to come up with these turrets here to try to protect this third. Tarson is looking to be pretty good right now, in a pretty solid position, especially the fact that he's up one base, or he's on the same bases, but in relative terms, up one base on the Zerg, because the Zerg does want to be up one base on him. And actually looks as a result, Nogrum is going to be trying to come down with his fourth, and going to be trying to hide it here all the way in this corner. This is good, but also very bad in the fact that if Tarson scouts this, he can send one medevac and try to snipe this down very quickly, and it actually would be very effective. We do have lots of mutas finally coming into play now, and they're going to be trying to pick off any outlying tanks, any outlying buildings, any unprotected areas of the map, and he does have enough to try to engage this turret, but no repair going down from Tarson. Going to force those guys back right now, and actually we are seeing an attempted push there from Nogrum, but needs to be careful because we do have that one tank sieged up. Muta's trying to move down, and actually the mutas are going to try to work down these destructible rocks here. Yeah, this map is great. I love it. I'm telling you guys. Just really, I like all the destructible rocks. I like all the different avenues to move into. I like all the different places to expand. It's just nice. I like it. Plain and simple. There you have it. Muta's moving across right now, still going to try to continue with this harassment. Tarson does have some nice turret spread here, so he's going to do a pretty good job of defending his base. We do still have these few Zerglings over here, a couple Banelings sitting in the middle, and here comes the push right now from Tarson. But again, look, might be a repeat of game number one, because we are seeing a nice spread out here of the units of Nogrum. He's got a ton of Speedlings and Banelings over here, a ton of Speedlings and Banelings over here, and I think he's going to be going for another sandwich. So Tarson does need to be very, very careful, because he doesn't know right now. Yes, he does. He knows the units are in back of him. He needs to be very, very careful. Going to be forced to push back right now. Marines are very clumped up. Banelings doing lots of damage right there. A few more Banelings rolling forward. He needs to split up those Marines as much as possible, but other Banelings rolling on in. Some very nice unit control there from Nogrum, hitting at multiple angles and doing tremendous amounts of damage. As a result, sending those Banelings in waves is really, really big as well, forcing those Marines to move into one position and then hitting them in that position once they do get there and situated with that next wave of Banelings. We basically saw Nogrum pushed out in 3 big waves, and that was very, very effective. Taking a look over here, we can see Nogrum does have that fourth up, so going to be seeing a transfer of workers, hopefully at some point in the not too distant future. No harassment going down right now for either player. Tarson, again, that attack was thwarted. We can see right now Nogrum's actually probably mounting up for a counterattack. He's going to first try to do some harassment. He wants to do a couple things. He wants to scout, first of all, where Tarson is. He wants to scout what he has, how much of which, and he wants to try to do some damage. He's actually having a hard time pushing on the base of Tarson, because Tarson has so many missile turrets up all over the place, and this is precisely what you need to do to protect your main and your natural once you push out into a third and fourth against a Zerg opponent who's playing with Mutalisk. Mutas, again, they're just going to keep flying around, keep trying to do what they can do. We do have that Hive tech coming out right now, so we might be seeing that Broodlord transition. And again, this is the point in the game that Tarson had trouble with during that first game between these two players in the series. Dealing with those Broodlords can be very, very difficult. And actually going to be losing this refinery here to this big ball of Mutas. Mutas pushing back, though, as those Marines come forward. But again, that's all you're trying to do with these Mutalisks, just a little bit of harassment here and there. So what we need from Tarson right now is we need Vikings. Once those Broodlords, I'm not, it hasn't happened yet, but I'm expecting those Broodlords to come into play. And once they do, we need Vikings, because these Marines are not enough. He has an armory coming out, but even if he got Thors, that is not enough. Thors are great. against Mutalisk, but they are not good at all against Broodlords. They're not effective, basically, against those units. SCV is going to be moving out to try to do some scouting, if for no other reason. He's going to be checking the towers. He wants to see if there's a big group, and actually Nogram, the big force, was just out of the range of that SCV that was scouting around, and Nogram coming out with the 5th base right now. So Nogram actually looking to be in a very solid spot. His big concern basically is going to be this big push from Tarson once it does eventually come. We can see right now Nogram going to be working down these destructible rocks to try to open up another avenue for him. He does get it down. There you have it. Tarson going to be moving forward to try to drop these down, but the fact that there's now another open avenue into his Expo is a very, very big issue, I would have to say. Tarson going to be trying to expand over here in this position. We do see these 3 Zerglings going to be spotting that out. Mutas trying to move in, but just a few too many turrets for him to actually get that. Marines going to be pushing forward to take out those Mutas, and here we go. Tarson going to be trying to land this base, and this is going to be the point right now that Nogram is getting ready to push out. He wants to hit this before he's up and situated. He just really needs to be careful about how and when he engages. He's going to be first going into the 3rd with all of these Speedlings, and actually going to be trying to roll up right into the main at the same time, trying to engage a small group here, losing a ton of Mutas, but the fact that there are so many Speedlings and Banelings here in the main of Tarson is a big problem. What is Tarson going to do to respond? He's going to be trying to push back. Banelings rolling forward, taking out quite a few Marines there, and a ton of Zerglings in the main base. Going to be going to town on these buildings here, on the production buildings of Tarson. Tarson, of course, does not want to lose these. We do have the entire force pushing away. The problem is right now is that this base is completely vulnerable. Okay, it's a planetary fortress, so it's not 100% vulnerable, but it's not in the best of positions there because all of the forces of Tarson have pulled back into the main and the natural to try to deal with these Zerglings that have just been running rampant all over the place. And this is exactly the kind of distraction tactics that Nogram needed to do. He's just buying himself plenty of time to get his upgrades. We can see those adrenal glands coming out, turning those regular Speedlings into cracklings. Lots of damage just went down for Nogram. Very nice play here. And is he going to be trying to move? Yes, he's just going to go straight for this 4th base. Looks like he's going to drop it down very quickly with those Banelings. Fungal growth on those SCVs, killing I don't know how many, but that was a lot. There were a lot of SCVs right there that just died. Overall, Nogram has 59 worker kills. Tarson has not killed a single worker all game, and that is a big problem. Tarson losing burrowed Zerglings over here, and this is gonna kick him right in the ass in just one moment. As soon as the Zerglings unburrow, that's gonna be a huge headache for Tarson. Tarson is gonna be trying to push right now. Actually, he wants to do some damage, but he is in a very, very bad position right now. We can see this big force of Nogram moving on across the board right now, and he does have to contend with this push though, so he's actually gonna be pulling on back to try to deal with this. It looks like he does have more than enough right now to deal with this. Doesn't want to lose too many Banelings to that small amount of Marines. And here we go, a little push going forward, and this is actually gonna mop up pretty much everything that Tarson has. Banelings destroying all of those Marines. These tanks are falling shortly thereafter. I want to see those guys unburrow because that's going to be a huge headache for Tarson. Tarson is not in a good spot at all. We do have Nogram right now on 5 bases, mining out of 2 or 3 of those. Probably just 2. We'd like to see these guys going over to this base over here. So going to be shortly mining on 3. Tarson is just basically mining on 1 base right now. His natural's almost out. His main is pretty much completely out. The Zergling's still chilling out in the corner. So yeah, Tarson is just not in a good position at all. Nogram is just in a commanding lead. Nice fungal growth going down there. Just going to roll in a couple Banelings as well as those Mutas. Banelings to take care of those Marines. Muta's going to take care of everything else. And yeah, it's just a matter of time right now. Tarson is just basically out of this game. There's the GG, guys. So wow, absolutely unbelievable. We saw some really nice fungal growths taking out tons of workers. I really like that diversion tactic that we saw from Nogram, hitting the main base with a ton of Zerglings, couple of Banelings mixed in there as well, and what that did is exactly what you would expect it to do. It forced Tarson to pull back with all of his forces that he had protecting his 4th base, and the second that happened, the second Tarson had all of his forces back inside of his main to deal with that little group of Speedlings and Banelings, right away we saw a push on the 4th from Nogram, and dropping that was absolutely huge, especially since he had 5 bases up in total. It was a really good spot for him. So there you go, as a Zerg player, if you've got this Terran making a slow push in a macro game, just try to hit him where it hurts. You can try to walk right into that main and natural like we saw Nogram do, or doing things like Nidus Worms, Nidus Networks is going to work really well as well. So there you have it, guys. Game number 3 in the series between these two players. Going to be moving on to game number 4 in just one moment. Remember, as always, if you like the content, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And as always, keep watching and keep owning.